Hello and welcome back to the Boardman Board Report. I'm your host, Connor Hines, and today I have School Board President John Landers joining me once again. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Landers.
Great, thank you, Connor. Great to be back, and it's kind of shocking to think that it's almost the end of May and commencement's just a few weeks away.
Yeah, so jumping right in for one of my last times, Monday night's May board meeting was held at Stadium Drive Elementary School, and it was a very busy meeting. First of all, the board approved a new 3-year contract with the Boardman Education Association. Can you go into more detail about that?
Sure. Well, first off, thanks to Mr. Zaccoli and the team at Stadium Drive for allowing us to have the meeting there. We enjoy going to the different buildings within the district. So, typically our school district has 3-year contracts with our Boardman Education Association or the BEA, and our current contract was set to expire at the end of June. Very thankful and very happy working with the BEA and our negotiations team to be able to come to an agreement well before the deadline. I think that gives stability to the district, allows us to continue to plan and move forward, and that we're working together to educate our students in this district as best as we can. The agreement was ratified by the Boardman Education Association earlier this month, and we, the board, unanimously approved it last night. It does call for 3% pay raises in each year of the contract, but allows us to attract and retain the top teachers in this area, but it also remains fiscally sound for the district. We worked very hard when we look at our 5-year forecasts and even 10 years out to make sure that we are being fiscally responsible to the greater Boardman community.
Yes, and I believe this new contract led to an overall change in the school calendar for next year. Can you explain these changes?
Sure. I think there's a variety of factors that go into it. Several years ago, the state really changed from the number of school days a school district was supposed to have to number of hours a school district was supposed to have. That gave districts like us, we had a good amount of buffer in there. And we also look at things like the state testing calendar and when does that fall into the year. And even as part of negotiations and hearing feedback from our staff across the district, those factors all played a role. I think we think it's really important to highlight that the first day of school will begin Wednesday, August 23rd, which is traditionally earlier for us, but we will finish earlier as well, which I know will probably make our students happy, with the last day of school for the 23-24 school year being Thursday, May 30th. Commencement 2024 will stay the same on Sunday, June 2nd. I think it is important to note that we had previously approved our calendar for the 23-24 school year maybe several months ago. With this adjustment in the contract, we re-approved it, and we're working hard to get that message out to our community so families can properly plan for vacations and commencement and things like that. Moving up this start time allows our staff more time to prepare before state testing, and allows us to be more consistent with districts across the area. The new calendar for the upcoming school year will be on our website this week, and I believe Mr. Saxon will also have a separate video kind of promoting and highlighting this. One other investment that made it easier for us to do this is the recent changes we made in the elementary school to provide improved HVAC, especially with starting earlier in the calendar year and temperatures. We've also continued to make that investment at Center and Glenwood, and those projects will start this summer. So we feel that this is a good change on really all factors.
Yes, and as you mentioned about staff, we recently had the pleasure of honoring 13 teachers from the district who were recommended for continuing contracts. What does this mean?
So I guess maybe the simplest word to think of when you think about a continuing contract is tenure. It gives them some stability, that they truly have a continuing contract in the district. Teacher must have 7 years or more with the specific school district before you can be recommended for a continuing contract, and those recommendations come from their principals, which then goes to Superintendent Saxton and then ultimately to the board to approve. And each of the principals had the opportunity to highlight the staff members in their building, and it was really touching and nice to hear about the impact all these staff members have, not only on their colleagues, but on their students and the community. It's I think a great moment for those teachers. They bring their families, so we get to sometimes meet their parents, their significant others, and sometimes their children. So it's great to celebrate what they do in the classroom. At Robinwood, we had 2, Tara Alberti and Melanie Oberly. At West, we had Dana McKnight. And at Center, we had Kendra Baltes, Kara Henley, Lisa Masiomi, and Maria Russo. At Glenwood, we had Tessa Kamenitsa and Alyssa Wooten. And lastly, at BHS, we had individuals like Dana Safarik, Terry Dively, Nicole Blaze, and Kristen Rickard. So busy meeting, but it's always really great to congratulate those teachers and shake their hands, and it's an important moment for them in their careers and their lives.
Yes, and I believe the board didn't stop with the recognition there when they also recognized students for their artistic and academic skills. And can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. I think especially, as we go to different buildings, we want to make sure we highlight, some of the students and activities going on in that specific building. So the Stadium Drive PTA sponsored a student art show, and some of the winners from K through 3 who placed for painting, drawing, or sculpture were in attendance. So it was great to congratulate those young Spartans with them and their families. And then in addition, 2 freshman students placed first at the YSU English Festival. Sometimes we're lucky to have 1, but to have 2 in the same year. The first one being Harper Liller, who won the prestigious Candace Gay Memorial Essay, which is, I think, an award that has from even when I was in English Festival a long, long time ago. And Lilia Campbell wrote a musical composition influenced by the English Festival books selections to win the Jeremy Salvner Music Composition Award. So I think, really last night, a lot of focus on academics, but also the arts, to have, not only students who can create writing, but also create music, I think is really a testament to all the wonderful things going on in the school district.
Yes, and speaking of music, the Project Mayhem was this past weekend, and it did not disappoint whatsoever. What would you tell anyone who has not experienced a Mayhem concert?
I think the stadium show just brings a lot of energy, and it's an outdoor concert, and thankfully the weather was enjoyable for it. I was a little nervous in the morning because it was raining a little bit, but cleared up. Has a real family-friendly atmosphere. I think it plays tunes from across different generations, so things that are maybe that came out as recently as this summer, or things that came out 40 or 50 years ago. So I think it can apply to a wide audience. 60% of the show was new from our March show in the BPAC. And I think the audience really enjoyed the new songs. We had people on the turf and people watching from the stands, so it was very cool. And just really thankful to people like our orchestra directors, Michelle Prokop and Bill Amidol, and to Patrick Kale, who runs the BPAC, and the Kale family for lighting and staging and just making sure everything goes smoothly. And then, we're lucky to have Scott Burns, who does an amazing job with sound. And then really the whole BSTN crew and Mr. Hallbar, because, we're projecting it live on the video board. We're live streaming it, and it's just a great way to capture and have that event. And I think it just highlights so many wonderful things in our district. So I think a really great night, a lot of energy, and I think it shows that it's a unique item, that there's really nothing else like this in the Tri-County area. So we're, I think, just very thankful to be Spartans.
Yes, well, Mr. Landers, it seems as if we reached the end of our interview, which it sounds... I'm thinking about it in my head, like while I'm talking to you, I'm just like, this is the final one. Like, I have to, whatever I say now is whatever I say now. So, Mr. Leonard, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Sure, just a few things. I think traditionally at this time of year, there's always something on the calendar, whether it be a concert or a banquet. So concerts coming up on the BHS Spring Orchestra Concert is this Wednesday, May 24th, and our 7th and 8th grade orchestra concert will be on Thursday, May 25th. We also have an upcoming jazz band concert is set for Friday, June 2nd in the BPAC, which is always, I think, a fun event. And want to remind everyone that the jazz band's summer schedule is busy, like it always is. I think they have performances at Boardman Park, Columbiana's Firestone Park, and at the Canfield Gazebo on the 4th of July. Our boys and girls track team did a great job at districts. I think each team placed third. We have many athletes moving on to regionals, which will occur, I believe, Wednesday and Friday this week. And we wish them luck. One thing we also did at the board meeting, which I think is important to you and a lot of your peers, is that we approved the senior graduating class. So, we'll get that diploma. So we just want to remind folks that commencement is Sunday, June 4th at 2 p.m. at Spartan Stadium. And I think that's just always a really special event for our graduates and for their families, but also for us. And I just really want to say thank you to you, Connor, and the team here, to be able to participate and highlight all this. So I got to ask, you're a few days away from graduating. What are your plans for the next step?
Go skydiving. No,
Okay.
No. I really would like to take time to thank Mr. Landers, because it's so. I remember one of my first interviews with you, I was so nerve-wracked because I was just like, okay, as a school board president, I don't know what, okay, if I stutter, it's over. Like, I don't, but it was just, you've been such the warmest, the kindest person on, off screen, of course, and it's just, it's been amazing. And I hopefully plan to continue doing things like this. And it's been such an overwhelming, amazing experience with you. And just thank you so, so much for everything.
Well, thank you for the kind words. You know, I've been a BSTN student, you know, so it's really, I think, special for me to be able to come back here, even though a lot of my time was behind the camera. Never really felt comfortable in front of the camera, but I think I've gotten better at it over the years. So, but just, and I think just lastly for the community, you know, as we end our school year, we'll be taking a break from these board updates during the summer, and we'll start back up as we start the 2023-2024 school year. So thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Well, thank you for taking time and joining us today, Mr. Landers. I'd like to thank BSTN and Mr. Genovic for everything they've given to me, and I am so excited and saddened to say I'm Connor Hines for BSTN. Have a great day, Boardman, and I'll see you on the next board report.